Hello, Mystic Travelers, and welcome to Tea and Spirits. Today we're going to be getting an ancestral message from the tea leaves. So first we're going to pull one of these shamanic healing cards to get a general idea of what the message is, shaping up to be. Then we will read some tea leaves. I usually do about 3 images from the tea leaves. And then we'll pull some tarot for clarifier. Divine timing. Ooh. All right. So today's message is about divine timing. Let's take a look and see what the tea leaves have to say. Okay. All right. So, first of all, over here, I see a scorpion. And we did get a scorpion maybe a month ago or something. And, so once again, if you're a Scorpio or you have strong placements in your chart with Scorpio or somebody that you know, then, this is going to be extra relevant to you. Here I see a tree alone in the middle of a field. And over here is, it's actually a peacock. Yeah, right there. So we have a scorpion, a peacock, and a tree alone in a field with divine timing. All right, let's get started. All right. So I feel like for a lot of you, this is a relationship spread because peacock often has to do with kind of dealing with haughty people. And when I say relationship, I don't necessarily mean romantic. I just mean, interacting with other people. So, a very proud person, a very haughty person, someone who likes to show off a lot. And with that tree in the middle of a field, it can also feel like maybe this person has made you feel isolated from other people. This is really actually the kind of people with the peacock energy often are the kind of people that do isolate others, whether it's in a partnership. Because it can, I'm not saying this obviously, but it can have like narcissistic vibes to it, and narcissists often will isolate people. So like they might not directly say you can't see your friends and family, but they might make the situation where it's more trouble than it's worth to you, or that the situation gets very toxic if you do. And of course, always seek the external help that you need. Sorry about that. My dog goes crazy when the mail comes. Okay, so what I was saying was, obviously, we can't diagnose or, say a person is this or that or whatever, but, there are kinds of behaviors and stuff that you might see repeated in your life. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, although it might be for some of you. I do feel that energy for some of you. And so the ancestors are really saying, look out for this kind of person. Because also with the scorpion, it's not just Scorpio, but also it's like stinging. Like it might be little stings, like 1,000 little stings. And sometimes a big sting, right? And so, but this could also show up at a job or something, where there's a person who really wants to get ahead and they don't mind stomping or stinging or, isolating with that isolated tree, isolating people in order to get what they want, right? Or to be perceived as a certain way and having you perceived as a certain way. And so we're going to get more into what this has to do with divine timing. But my initial feeling around divine timing is that to transform this situation is happening in divine timing, in the sense of like you are already feeling some transformations happening, and it's been really hard for you to trust that process. But, your subconscious is on it. Your ancestors are saying, we got your back. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tarot cards. The Lovers, yep, definitely romantic situation. And remember, if there's a romantic situation or any situation where you don't feel safe make sure you're being careful and you're getting the help you need. And that means safety, emotionally, it means physically, whatever. Always go and get the help that you need. And, you know, these are not easy situations to deal with when you're dealing with these kinds of people. And, you know, your ancestors see the sort of desolation, the way you always have to have your guard up, the way abundance is right there, but you can't reach it because this person keeps blocking you. There's a lot of fiery energy here with the wands. You've been trying to look forward. You remember, you know, we have this juxtaposition of the lovers with the two wands. You remember what it was like, how beautiful it was, and you keep thinking it's going to get back to that situation. And this is for people with the romantic reading of it. We have King of Wands and King of Pentacles here side by side. So I would feel like this person has a very controlling energy. If this is a workplace thing, it's about a choice that needs to be made. With the lovers, it's actually a choice that needs to be made no matter what. My dog she can't get over the fact that the mailman came earlier. She's still kind of huffing and puffing over there. This, you know, I get in my heart chakra like the stinging sensation. I almost said singing sensation. That's what you're missing, right? You're missing. The ancestors want you to know your heart should be singing. Singing. You know, your heart is so bright. And it's actually interesting. I just happened to pick this black and white deck today, right? I usually just grab whatever deck feels right for the day, and this felt right because it feels like the color has been drained from your world. That isolated tree in the teacup was not just isolated. Its leaves looked like they were getting ripped off. You know, they looked like it was like partially barren on one side. Yeah, right here. Like the wind's almost like blown part of it away. And so with divine timing, trusting yourself, trusting the process. And actually I feel like I want to pull a couple of actual tea leaf cards to flesh this out for you. I feel, like I said, there's a heaviness in the heart chakra, and in the throat chakra, I feel like the feeling of like not being able to speak. But I'm also feeling this energy of you're watching, like with this eye, right? With divine timing, you're watching and you're waiting and you're biding your time for the right moment. And when the right moment comes, you're going to know exactly what to do. And you're going to know exactly how to reach out. And let's go ahead and take a look at these. Kangaroo, unsettled time, need to plan ahead. Yep. Yeah, you're already kind of working through this, even though it's really difficult. But you also feel the support of the ancestors behind you. They are your royal guard, so to speak. Star, guaranteed success. Look at that. Look at that juxtaposition. You know, the star is that, in tarot, the star is the soft, guiding, almost like a wash of soft light after the tower, after everything crashed and burned. So it's not glaring like the sun. It's like a gentle warmth that washes over you. So think about that juxtaposition. And, you know, with the kangaroo, you know, there's like kangaroo boxing and they kick, and, you know, just a feeling of kind of letting go of a violent situation in your life. And by violence, I mean like could be emotionally violent, mentally violent. If it's physically, then, you know, obviously be super duper careful and get help with whatever you need for any of this, right? I can't encourage that enough. Fire, strong emotion, passionate love or hate. For some of you guys, especially like I was saying earlier with these, you know, things were good at first, whether it was with this coworker, with your lover, whatever. But a lot of you, it turned from one of the most passionate love stories you've ever had in your life to one of the most painful hateful situations. And you might even feel hatred towards, but it was powerful because, for some of you with that peacock energy, I do get trauma bond energy. And a trauma bond hijacks your mental faculties. It hijacks your brain chemicals. It is an addiction that people and they, oftentimes these people know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get you addicted to them quickly so that they can drain you for whatever they can and, gain control of you however they can. And like I said, this could happen in your personal life. It could be in a work situation. There's all sorts of situations where people may want to exploit you, especially if you have an especially bright light. You're especially susceptible, especially if you have a big fire in your heart. You're very passionate. That's a lot of energy that especially a lover can take advantage of. So I'd be looking out for backstabbing with that Scorpion, for energy vampires with the leaves blowing off of the isolated tree and you becoming more isolated. How can you reach back out to your friends? How can you start reconnecting and getting the help that you need? Temporary situation. Oh, you're ready to move on from this. The ancestors really got your back on this, beloved traveler. Situations in the balance that require careful handling. Yeah, we just keep getting the same thing, right? Like, this is such a delicate situation. You have to keep yourself safe. Trust in divine timing. But divine timing doesn't mean, it doesn't always mean, sometimes it, like, literally stuff will fall into place perfectly. Oh, you'll meet the perfect person that helps you in this way at this time. Divine timing also has to do with listening to your inner voice. So clearing out what this other person is saying and imposing upon you so that you can hear your inner voice better. And when you can hear your inner voice better, then you will know, you're like, oh, you'll know inside it's time to move. You won't, it's time to, and I mean move, like maybe it's literal, but I mean time to get out of a situation. Because of the delicacy of this, let me see what I've got. I'm going to grab the badass affirmations. Oh my God. Badass affirmations. I should just call them badass affirmations, right? Because, you really want some empowering energy going into this. A lot of you are scared. And I just want you to know that, there are resources, there are people out there that you can reach out to. So make sure that you're getting the help you need and being safe. Too glam to give a damn. Real bitch energy only. Okay. So this is kind of, I was actually talking to somebody in my life who's going through a lot of hard things. And I was like, your righteous anger is one of the most powerful magical tools that you have when things like this happen. It doesn't mean get involved in arguments with people that are scary. It doesn't mean that at all. It means you can channel that anger, and instead of it becoming fuel for that toxic person who's trying to trigger you so they can feed off of you, you transmute and channel that energy into your own power. And like I said, this is an ancestral reading, so you can call on your ancestors to help you with this transmutation. Think of the strong ancestors in your family. Some of them that were super stubborn, that did crazy things, that were just, you can channel that energy. And I like this too because, some of you guys are, especially with some pentacles going on here, you're worried about money during this transition. You're manifesting, you're feeling that energy. You're worried about financial ruin with this. But with the divine timing, it's saying stuff is going to work out just as it should. The ancestors are going to keep directing you to these possibilities. And as you're moving away from this, watch out for more of that Scorpio kind of energy, right? It's a clue. Because if someone's going to give you a little stab or a little pinch, right at the beginning when they are on their best behavior? What are they going to do 6 months after that, a year after that? It's not going to be a little pinch, right? It's not going to be a little poke. It's not going to be a little sting. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you deserve to feel safe. And even if you're physically safe, emotional safety, mental safety, your nervous system needs to be able to be in maintenance mode and not in survival mode. Survival mode keeps those hormones going, keeps you hooked on that person. Okay, this one was pretty heavy, Mystic Travelers, but you are doing fabulous. You are here. You are working on it. You know what needs to be done. And, you know, I know I reiterate it, but, you know, the ancestors and all that are helping you, but get real world help too. We can't, it's so important that we don't spiritual bypass, especially when it comes to other people who might be toxic, because you can't control what they're going to do, right? You can only control what you can do and how, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, remember, right in the middle of your reading is the star. That is you, and you've got this. Whew. Please tell me below how your heart and throat chakra were feeling during this, and if it reflects the situation that you're in, whether that's in a romantic situation, a friendship, or at your job. And I'll see you next time.